So I'll be honest, I don't always know the details about economic development. I just know I'm passionate about Pine Bluff. But I found this book on Kindle Unlimited called The Agents of Economic Development, and on page 38 it talks about things that project decision makers, the people who can bring hundreds of jobs to a community, things that they will look at. So we're going to go over some of these things together. One of the things is access to their market. Although Pine Bluff is the fastest shrinking city in America, we can look at the success of the Saracen Casino Resorts and how they were the second highest revenue earning casino in the state of Arkansas, outperforming Oaklawn's Casino in Hot Springs, Arkansas, a much more bustling tourist town. We can look at them as an example that with the right marketing and the right positioning, any business or industry can do well here. And as we will discuss later on, there are lots of means of transportation: train, airport, highway, waterport. There's so many different ways that a company can get their products really around the world. The next thing that it says is access to the talent necessary to be successful and profitable today and tomorrow. So not only does Pine Bluff have a university, an HBCU, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, we also have a community college, CARC, which is rapidly expanding and growing. We also have several organizations that are promoting the improvement and development of workforce. One organization that comes to mind is Carpenter's Daughter. Ms. Verna Perry is very adamant about preparing the next generation and those who just want to change careers or enhance their skills on apprenticeship and how to be a good fit for potential jobs that will come into our area, because we're being hopeful, okay? The jobs are on the way, we know it. It's just a matter of when they're coming, not if they're coming, because they're coming, okay? Then access to supply chain resources. The 5 most important supply chain factors are cost, and to be honest, I don't really know what they mean by that, but I do know that Arkansas is extremely cheap. It's, I believe, the second cheapest place to live in America right now. I mean, in this economy, who wouldn't want to take advantage of that deal? It's one of my favorite things about Arkansas, but also one of my favorite things about Pine Bluff, because for a city, maybe the city needs help, but there is still a city vibe compared to some of the smaller towns in Arkansas. And when I tell you Pine Bluff is extremely affordable compared to the other cities in Arkansas, if you want to invest, this is the time to do it, because the secret's not going to stay hidden for long, okay? You need to take advantage of these low costs while we have it. Speed, getting the product to the client on time. Again, we have the train, we have the water port, which the Arkansas River is connected to the Mississippi River. That river also opens up in Louisiana, so you have access to the ocean. So because of that, our port opens us up to send and receive shipment around the world. We do have an active airport here. You usually kind of just see like small private jets or things like that come in and out of this area, but we do have an airport here, so I'm sure that if that was a necessary way for someone to get shipment, you also have that option. The train is always running, okay? If you've ever been to Pine Bluff, you've heard the train. The train is always running, which means that there's always shipment coming in and out of this area. Finally, we also have the highway. So the I-40, which was one of the original highways that formed the backbone of the United States highway system, is only about a 45-minute drive from Pine Bluff, and you can get there on the highway as well. So you are just about 40 minutes away from one of the major highways in the United States. You have access to literally the entire world when you invest in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Then it says quality of service. I wouldn't know much about that, but please let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a testimonial of some industries that have invested in Pine Bluff, and they can tell you themselves. Reliability and consistency. Again, you always hear the train, you always see big trucks driving on the highways around here. I would say they're pretty reliable and consistent, but again, I guess a testimonial will be able to answer those questions better than me. The next point is access to available sites and buildings and space. And one thing about Pine Bluff, with it being the fastest shrinking city in America, that means that there's nothing but space and opportunity here at a very low price. Access to capital, I'm assuming they mean like banks. Not really sure what the technical way that an industry or an investor would need access to capital, but Simmons Bank is operating in a few different states in our country, and I believe that they were founded right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. They do have one of their main branches here, so if they can't help you with the access to capital, I know that they'll know someone who can. both the real and perceived impact of government regulations on my business. One thing about it, whether you like it or not, Arkansas is a heavily red state when it comes to the government leadership, especially right now. Pine Bluff is pretty blue, but with Arkansas state leadership being red, that is usually a signal that this is a business-friendly state. They usually tend to be in favor of low regulation. Also to the point of government regulations, as there is a massive push to go green. There is a company here that recently invested in Pine Bluff called Graphite. This company in Pine Bluff is the world's first and only carbon dioxide removal solution. They are currently working with American Airlines, so that is a big incentive for companies who gotta do what they gotta do, but also do care about the environment and want to offset some of their carbon footprint. Here in Pine Bluff, you have a company that is going to help you with that immediately. Next point is about the quality of life. In Pine Bluff, the quality of life needs work, but work is being done. Our library is fairly new. It's state of the art. It's absolutely gorgeous. My son loves it. There's so many different amenities in that library. We have a lot of parks. There's a new park in development, a skate park. There's a lot of community-based things here in Pine Bluff. When it comes to the quality of life, we have live music. We have a lot of community events, but as far as the nightlife, I know that that is where there's some areas of concern. However, again, the casino is doing well. It's thriving. They're currently building a resort hotel. Where there isn't something in Pine Bluff, there's an opportunity for an investor to bring it. And this is the time to do it. In addition to the casino resort that I just mentioned, there's a new hotel coming to the Pine Bluff Convention Center. The plaza downtown has just been completed. There's going to be shopping and restaurants, and I believe there's going to be a rooftop bar. Don't quote me on that. But I say that to say work is being done here. However, we do need more work. If you're a visionary, this is the time to bring your ideas to life in the Bluff. Finally, what is the situation with K-12 education? Is it better, about the same, or worse than their current location? So I want to say, when you hear about education in Pine Bluff, with this being the fastest shrinking city in America, of course there's not as much tax revenue to improve the education, or at least to improve the resources in these schools. But what you will not hear is how many amazing, talented youth are in these schools, thriving regardless. And while that may not be a point of complete comfort for anyone who is a super competitive, wants their child to have the best of the best education, I can tell you, I come from an extremely rigorous educational background. I was in the International Baccalaureate program in high school. I value education too. But shouldn't education teach us how to create a world that's better than how we found it? And I believe that if you invest in Pine Bluff with a community mindset, with the intention of giving back to the schools, like CMI has done with their welding program at Watson Chapel High School, that is how you help a community rise and thrive. Not to mention that the taxes that you will be contributing with your investment will help these schools improve. Maybe all that sounds good to you, but it's not good enough. You want your kids to have the best of the best. That's okay. We do have a charter elementary school here, Friendship Aspire Academy, that was ranked one of the best charter schools in Arkansas and one of the best elementary schools in Arkansas in general. So there are other options for you. Just know that your investments will help all of the education in this community thrive. And don't let what you hear scare you. There are some students here doing absolutely phenomenal work that just don't get that attention because of all the other rumors that you hear. And we're working on that too. So you tell me, based on the questions that we've asked, that project developers look for before they bring industry to Pine Bluff, is Pine Bluff ready for that investment? Is it possible for the city of Pine Bluff to be turned around? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more.